What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another midnight video. Hope you're all doing very well. We're going to talk about Enhancement Shaman today. Going to give you my first impressions of Enhance, how it feels moving into the beta of Midnight. And there's lots of really good things to talk about, to be honest. Honestly, I think all of Shaman is looking pretty crisp right now. So let's just dive right in. There's the Sunwell trying to fight against the darkness back there. It's good times. This is the new city. It is absolutely gorgeous. I tried installing details and it doesn't work. My apologies. Blizzard has not fixed their own damage meter and details isn't working. So there will be no meters here, unfortunately. But I am going to be showing you guys my first impressions of Enhancement Shaman and what I think is kind of good to go with this spec. So let's talk about the talent tree. First of all, there's been a few talents that have been consolidated, right? So we have Doomwinds now at the bottom here. But if you take Ascendance or Deeply Rooted, it replaces Doomwinds and just adds the effects together. So they're doing a lot of this consolidation in the game, a lot of pruning, we're calling it, right? This is a pretty good one. I don't mind not having to press 2 buttons. That's kind of nice. If you're playing Totemic, you still have to press 2 buttons. You have to press Totem plus Doomwinds or Totem plus Ascendance, which I don't think you're ever going to take. So let's just call it Doomwinds for now. And then you're also going to take Primordial Storm. So you have Sundering. You still have buttons to press, but less so than you did before. They have munched a bunch of them together, which is pretty cool. So a quick note about overcharge here. Critical strike damage of your nature abilities is increased by 40% of your critical strike chance. So there's a very real chance you could play a crit build potentially if you were running Stormbringer. I don't think you're going to want to take it over Mastery. I don't know. Mastery is just really goated, but it's cool that they've added crit synergy into the tree now. I think that's actually pretty cool. Then let me talk about the difference between the two different sides. So basically we have fire side and lightning side. This is really how they divided it up. Lightning down here, fire down here. It's very obvious what you should be picking depending on what hero tree you're running. And I think that that's fine. It's fine that they've kind of simplified that for you. There's some cool stuff going on with Sundering now. So we have Voltaic Blades, which could also automatically activate Fire Nova, part of the pruning. Once again, they've consolidated this stuff together. I don't know that this is a good talent. I don't have a damage meter, so I can't tell, but I don't think it's a great talent. Hot Hands over here, we have double damage flame shocks, sorry. Then we have Sundering with a new buff. Casting Sundering gives you 15% haste for 12 seconds and generates 5 stacks of Maelstrom Weapon, which is crazy because then you can immediately go into your Primordial Storm, which spawns after your Sundering. So let me put this in context for you. This creates a really big burst window, a 1-minute burst window with Surging Totem. You go like Surging Totem, Doomwinds, Sundering, Primordial Wave. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's just like big burst damage right out of the gates. And then you're into your Hot Hand windows. And you have all these synergies with Hot Hand in the tree. You have Hot Hand extension, which is really crazy. We'll talk about that in a second. You have extra Sunderings that you get as well. And you've got the Hot Hand proc here. And you have a double damage down here. After casting Surging Totem, your next Lava Lash will cast again. So you're getting tons of Hot Hand damage and Lava Lash damage in general, okay? That's kind of how that works. So it's the Totemic build is like a huge burst window followed by pretty consistent Hot Hand extensions and decent damage that way. The Storm build, you would drop all of this and you would go over here and you would grab Storm Flurry, and I think you could grab this too, and then you're going to come down here and get this, and then you're going to grab Ascendance, okay? And you would flip over to the Storm build. I'll look at this really quickly. I have one more point to put in here. Sure. The Storm build focuses, it doesn't focus on Lava Lash at all. It focuses on Storm Strike. And they've really delineated these two, did I say that right? Lava Lash and Storm Strike. So in the Fire build, you're Lava Lashing with Hot Hand. It's doing big damage. In the Storm build, you're Storm Striking, proccing Tempests from Storm Strike, okay? You go into your Ascendance window and you're pressing Wind Strike, which is triggering Tempests automatically. And you're refunding all your Maelstrom, and you're casting Chain Lightnings, and Lightning Bolts are just flying out of you, and it's really, really cool. That's kind of how this all works. So the two builds are very distinct in how they play and what they do, and I'm going to show you right now that what's going on here. You're never casting Feral Spirits anymore. They're just not natural, but they are just happening on their own. Passive is the word I'm looking for. Good God, you'd think I wouldn't talk for a living. So they're passive now. You have Thorm's Invocation, which extends the duration of Doom Winds. Deeply Rooted makes Ascendance be a 2-minute cooldown. And then during Doom Winds or Ascendance, your Storm Strike and Crash Lightning will automatically consume 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks to throw out whatever spell you've cast recently. So that effect is still there. And yeah, the main talent that I want to focus on is this Elemental Tempo for the rest of the video. This is really, really cool, and it makes the melee abilities for Enhancement Shaman kind of the center point, the focal point, if you will, where you want to be refunding the cooldown on your Storm Strike if you're playing Stormbringer, and you want to be refunding the cooldown on Lavalash if you're Totemic, and I'll show you what that kind of looks like. So we're going to run in with our Voltaic Blaze, and we'll crash, and then we'll do a Storm Strike, and I have my Maelstrom weapon stacks right here. I'll get up to 10. There we go. We got a Tempest. I'm going to go Ascendance here. Wind Strike. It automatically casts my Tempest for me. We'll throw in a Voltaic Blaze just for fun, but we're just Wind Striking, maybe Crash Lightning here. The extra charge of Crash Lightning that I got is from my Apex talent, which is really good. But this is very simple, okay? You're just pressing Wind Strike, and it's automatically spending your Maelstrom for you. Between the two builds, the Storm build is definitely the simpler build. It is much, much simpler to kind of understand how to play this build. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But to me, it's a little boring. I'm not going to lie. It's like 3 buttons. It's Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, and then Tempest when you get it, or Chain Lightning. And you can press Voltaic Blaze if you want to, but you don't really have to. You know what I mean? You don't really have to. So there we go. That's it. That's the Storm build. Nothing, honestly, not much has really changed with the Storm build. It's kind of more of the same. It's just that Storm Strike is a much more incorporated button now. Storm Strike does a lot of damage actually on its own, and it ends up being a huge part of your rotation now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's kind of how the Storm build works. Let me run out here and I'll switch to the Totemic build. So again, you're missing out on a bunch of the buttons that you could be pressing. So Sundering, you have Ascendance, but you don't have Sundering, you don't have Primordial Storm, and you don't have a totem to put down. So it's much more simplified, I would say, for Stormbringer. It's a lot of just Crash Lightning, Storm Strikes, and then your spenders. So if you like that, cool. If you want something a little bit more complex, then I can introduce you to my lovely friend, the Totemic build. We'll get rid of Ascendance for this because we're not going to be pressing Storm Strike ever. So I don't think you're going to want to have Ascendance for this build. Oh, Ascendance is on cooldown. We'll have to wait for that to come back. 1 second away. Look at that. Always the way it goes. So now we're going to be casting Doom Winds as our 1-minute button. And then we have another 1-minute button called Surging Totem. Surging Totem is a 1-minute button now. It's not a 24-second button. It's a 1-minute totem. So your burst windows they're like bigger, but they're a little bit further spread out now. I think it's an appropriate amount of time. A 1-minute burst cooldown window is fantastic. Ask any spec that doesn't have this if they would want to have a 1-minute burst window cooldown. They would say yes immediately. Okay. Another cool quality of life for Enhance is this talent down here. When you press your Lightning Shield, it applies all of your other imbues. So if we get rid of this, you can see I don't have my weapon imbues on. I just press this and it puts them all on for me. Isn't that so cool? If I had Elemental Orbit, it would also put Earth Shield on me. I just don't have it on right now. Okay. So now I'll show you the rotation for Totemic. We're going to put our totem in. I'll show you this big burst window I'm talking about. We're going to go Totem into Doom Winds, into Sundering, into Primordial Storm. Okay. That's what it's going to look like. Now, I think I want to do my Flame Shock after, right? No, there's no Flame Shock in here at all. So we're going to Flame Shock first. We're Flame Shocking on the way in. We're Voltaic Blazing. Okay. We go like this. Voltaic Blaze, Totem, Doom Winds, Sundering, Primordial Storm, Crash Lightning, and then our Hot Hand window. And then look at this Hot Hand bar. I have this new Hot Hand bar. I'm extending my Hot Hand by using my spenders. See how that bar keeps going back up? And whenever I use my spender, it refreshes the cooldown of my Lavalash, which is insane. Lavalash, spender. Lavalash, build up some Maelstrom weapon stacks, spender. Lavalash, spender. My Hot Hand window is now finally ending right now. Isn't that crazy? My Sundering is back into another Primordial Storm, into another Hot Hand window. Look at that. Lavalash, Chain Lightning, Lavalash. We're going to run out here again. Chain Lightning, just to keep it going for a little bit longer. You can see that bar right there. You can put that bar anywhere, by the way. That's part of the new cooldown manager. Anyway, I like it. I like having this interesting like thing to think about. And I really love the interaction of the elemental tempo where I use my spender and all of my melee abilities come back off cooldown. I love that. One more burst window here. Doom Winds, Sundering, Primordial Storm, Hot Hand, and then we go. Keep extending it. Lava Lash, Hot Hand, or Chain Lightning, Lava Lash, Chain Lightning, Lava Lash, Crash, Storm Strike, Lava Lash, and Chain Lightning. Keep it going a little bit longer. Lava Lash, one more Chain Lightning, keep it going a little bit more, and we're out. Okay? So, it's up to you. I think I've probably tried to sell the Totemic build a little bit more than I've tried to sell the Storm build, and I apologize if I feel biased. I just find this is more fun. I like that I have a totem that I can put down. I have this big burst window with Sundering and then Primordial Storm. I think it's really cool. There's some interesting ideas to kind of play around with. I love trying to extend my hot hand window because of Totemic momentum now. And that this talent, extending my hot hand window, pairs up with elemental tempo so perfectly because it gives me my Lava Lash back. I just think it's so cool. So really enjoy this build, but the Storm build is just as good, and I don't know which one does more damage. This one's just simpler. It's a lot simpler, but I think it works just as well. There's nothing wrong with this build either. The bottom line for Enhancement Shaman right now is that rotationally speaking, they are in a wonderful place. Yes, you're gonna have less haste when the expansion starts. I'm at level 83 right now. My haste is down to like 18%. I think it was only at like 25 or something, but it's going to go down to like 7%, and you're going to have to slowly build it up again. And every build feels like crap when that happens. But the bottom line is that the rotations that you do for either build feel very fun to me and engaging and enjoyable. And we're just going to have to wait and see what the damage profile looks like. But all in all, Enhancement Shaman is looking really good at the beginning of the Midnight Beta. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from all of you guys. I'm going to cover Ellie very soon. And we'll do some Resto Shaman stuff. I actually have some dungeon footage already of Resto Shaman. So we'll get to that soon. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.